Hello, my tarot people. Happy Halloween. I say that because we'll be doing a reading for the entire week. Haha. Let's do some of this sage cleansing because I tried to record this video a few times and it's gone alright. I'm just trying to find the particular perfect words to say what I'm trying to say without the meaning getting lost. Feminism, misogyny, very important things to remember. It's very important to acknowledge the respect part of it. When it simply comes down to it, feminism is because women need to be respected just as much as men in terms of what they have to say and what they bring to the table, and the work that they put in is just as valuable as a man's job and work. And this doesn't mean like in comparison in the same position. It does, but it also means that a job that someone else chooses that is not necessarily this like high-paying, striving, crazy job, which most times honestly is really not necessary, because it's all about then that we're transferring over into this greed and this money hoarding, which has gotten our country into a gigantic mess of debt and imbalance of power, leaving many women and children without proper diet, proper health care, proper education. We've basically defunded programs that are going to turn people into good people, because the majority of the wealth and status and power has been hoarded and taken by a minute members of the world, mostly being men, because of the value that has been placed so much on money and the fact that it is meaningless. It is simply and utterly meaningless. Yes, we need it to buy goods, but we could also do a barter system where you could barter for goods. You could grow food in your garden. There is this, this devaluing of family and devaluing of the contribution that women have in society, and that's really where it lies, the problem that is. If you don't have the right status qualifications, you are not you're not up there as trying to strive to be somebody in the medical profession, or you're not trying to be a stockbroker, a data analyst, anything that has these false standards of status in their titles, then you are not worth anything. So the kindness and the warmth that you bring with your personality means nothing. And that's actually really tragic, because the world we need more of that like warmth. We need more of that like comfort and that care, because it's been drained so much out of our society. The interpersonal reactions and the people talking to each other. I actually, even though it would make my YouTube channel go down, I wouldn't mind if the internet went down. I wouldn't. Did I just say that? Yeah, I wouldn't mind. because then we'd actually have to talk to the people around us. And I honestly think that would be a really important thing. I mean, I am guilty of it as well. I've isolated myself in several, times and situations. You quick go to the phone. But when we connect with the people around us, then we are really aware of the situation and where we are. And I think if we didn't have so much of that connection, that we would change our lives. We would start shifting and changing where we lived. We would, go other places because we would rather be around the people that we love and the people that make us feel like family, like home. And that is a really interesting concept that I've noticed that several groups have started to navigate and direct towards. We've actually moved past this division toward people actually going out into the desert and trying to recreate more primitive ways of living. So people who have had too much technology are reverting back to the way that it used to be before the technology. It's fascinating. It's simply and utterly fascinating that we've gone almost so far over to the one side that now we are totally coming back. It is the pendulum swinging. And hopefully we can start restructuring and recreating this whole system for good. So, on that note, I'd like to wish you all a happy Taurus full moon, my full moon, with my moon in Taurus. It leaves me stubborn. Full moons are about releasing. Full moons are about culminations of things. Full moons are very emotional. I know I've been overly sensitive about things in my own life that I know that would normally get to me if I wasn't, if it wasn't around the full moon. And it's especially potent and powerful, and it's there to teach us things. It's there to get us to connect inwardly to that part of us that we ignore every day, that we it's kind of like a resurgence of the feminine power, because we ignore a lot of our emotions on a daily basis so that we can function and try and work and live and interact with people. And it's a very important thing to connect with that side of ourselves. It's not the only part, but it's definitely an important part. In order to cope with the separation from a loved one, we need to realize that spiritually we are always connected to those we love. Neither distance nor time can separate that which is united by love. That's funny, I talk about that I was talking about that. Oh, spirit, you. Oh, you. My cards are mixed up today. Interesting. Who's been throwing my cards around me? A new love is coming your way. Yet in order for this to manifest, you must first release the past. Are you ready? All it takes is a conscious desire to do so. Yeah. Full moon. Culminations. Release. I'm so grateful for you, my love. You give so freely without condition. Life is an endless flow of blessings because of your great love. It is only normal to miss somebody who is dear to you. But remember, love knows no separation. You may be physically apart, yet spiritually you are always united. Those you love are forever present in your heart. That's interesting. We're getting a lot of love separation cards. And I'm wondering if it's connected to the fact that people are having to move out of their countries and go away to do business, leaving a large separation between us. I mean, we've gone much more globally, which is great, but it's also not as great because that separation and learning, we learn new people's cultures, and we, are understanding people around us. But then there's also this exemplification of the disparity of wealth in countries, and how little some people have and how much they have to fly away from the people that they love. And regardless of the fact that love doesn't know separation, it's also not, it would be great if we could have countries within themselves being able to provide work and financial, stability and security. And beyond that, where is the money that they're bringing back going? Is it going back into the economy? Are they starting to try to create more jobs in those local areas? Or are the people running those countries taking it and using it, profiting it back to themselves? That's really what we should, focus on. And, that brings into play the sex trafficking and the sex slaves and the escorting business, because that is one trade that has not subsided. It's one of the oldest professions, and it's not a negative thing, but there is definitely less regulation and boundaries on how these women are treated, especially with the sex trafficking and slavery, because they are literally prisoners forced into having sex with people for money that they do not get. So when women actually are in charge of the money that they receive, that is powerful. That is a very powerful act, which is reviled by a lot of people and a lot of women and men, because it is a very powerful position for a woman to be in, for them to take control of their sexuality and say, this is mine, and I choose how, when and where to give that, and to whom, and how much. And that is going to be, that is going to be my net worth, and that is going to be how much I'm going to be receiving as a, pay that I'm going to spend on myself. And that is a very interesting intersection of our world, where something that is so reviled yet is so feminist. And I find it very interesting, because it's not a position that every woman would want, but yet it is still a very feminist action. And there there is that disconnect of a lot of times where there are things that some women would not want to do, but yet they have to understand that being an equalist, feminist, whatever you want to call yourself, has to include everybody. And we must not have harsh opinions about people's choices in life, because we wouldn't want people to have harsh opinions of our choices and what we choose to do. Alright, where are we going? A profound transformation is taking place in your life. Be yourself. You have much to offer the world by just being you. Your love has the power to transform all things, including your relationship and love life. So, be you. Stand strong with an open heart, which is probably one of the most feared things in this world. Being open with people around you and sharing who you are, regardless of how you feel you may be perceived, is such an important thing. Because if you are afraid to be yourself, there's no one else who's going to be you. And so then the world is lacking the message that you are bringing, which is why I sit here every week, and sometimes in the past daily, where I have wisdom, I have a message to bring, I have something to say, and it is important. And I know that it could get me in trouble. I know that people disagree, and I know that people think that I'm probably a bit mad and cuckoo. And in trouble, I mean by not getting me hired, or not putting me on a government watch list. But that's even more important why I need to say it. When people really want to stop you from saying things or doing things, that's when you need to do them more than ever. Hopefully, because, the danger quality is not fatal. But I mean, in this world, we don't know. I'd rather be inside than outside in some public event arena, because of the pattern of, shootings. That's a real threat, and that's scary. And there we go. That reaches on our subject just a little bit more. Most of the people that have been the culprits in these shootings have been cis white male. And most of them have had a manifesto of that girls did not like them. And they blamed the women for their problem. These men, boys, whatever you want to call them, do not deserve to have people like them, because they are clearly not likable. Why would you like somebody who would want to come in and shoot people up? That is not or who is hostile and angry. We want to love our neighbor. We want to love the people in our life. We want to try at least. I know women, they've tried at least to care for people, men, who have abused verbally and physically, who have belittled them, abandoned them, all things where there was no respect involved, because of this nurturing quality where we wanted to save somebody who clearly just didn't want to be saved, because it is an interchange. You cannot save somebody from themselves. They have to make the change. They have to become the better version of themselves. You cannot hold somebody's hand through a process that they can only go through alone. And regardless of how much you'd like to help somebody because of how much you love them, you cannot love somebody into a better understanding of themselves. The only person that can do that is them. And they must love themselves. Okay. So, interesting. Oh, wow. Okay. So, the overall themes of the week is we have the Three of Swords, and we have the Eight of Pentacles. Interesting. So the overall theme is a bit of heartbreak, and that's interesting. I'm fascinated by that because I feel like sometimes we need to feel that disappointment. We need to feel like we are losing something to gain something. And it looks like it has to do with something that we've been working on, some work that just will not, it's not going to pan out. And that's okay. That's okay, because not everything that we do in life is always going to fully manifest into exactly what we want it to. And that is a beautiful lesson in itself. It's a disappointing lesson, yes. It's frustrating, but it's there to teach us that, and only that. And to actually, it's there to humble us. And a lot of times we need humility in our lives because we get so on on this ego trip of, everything going right, and, if we work hard enough, it's just, everything's just going to work out, and that we're right, so then you should listen to us. And it's very strange. Sometimes you have to just let go and allow things to fall apart, allow things to not happen the way that they were going to happen. There's a ultimate plan out there for everything, and sometimes the reason why things don't happen is because they weren't supposed to happen. What was supposed to happen is something that happens after that, because of what we learned when things fell apart. So, at the beginning of the week, we have the Nine of Pentacles. So, I mean, we have disappointments, but when we understand where our focus goes, if our focus is focused on that disappointment, on the fact that things didn't work out, that things fell apart, then we're not noticing the fact that we have the comforts. We have, safety. We have a roof over our head. We have money in the bank. We have the ability to go and get food. We have the ability to go to the sink and get water. We don't have to walk through the desert to get water for our family like some people. That is a very first world problem. Hashtag. We don't realize how good that we actually have things in life sometimes. I almost drank my sage. Haha. Because we are so focused on our ambition and things that did not pan out and things that did not work. And we have underneath it the Princess of Pentacles. So, I mean, we've created that. Being a novice as ourselves. Not necessarily, we're not the king, we're not the businessman, we're not the knight. We are the page, the newbie, the person coming in, that we are able to still provide enough for ourselves that we feel comfort. We feel satiety. We are the Lord of material gain. And that's the beginning of the week. So enjoy your comforts at the beginning of the week, because they're there. They're around you. You have a roof over your head. You have carpet under your feet. That is something to be cherished. You have internet access. You have a computer. Then we have the Five of Cups reversed. Which is a fantastic card, actually. Paired with the Eight of Wands upright. Meaning that swiftly and quickly, new things that are moving you forward emotionally are coming in. So maybe we've been feeling some disappointment. Maybe we've felt like something didn't pan out that we were hoping it would, and that that's kind of a bummer. But now things are coming into our existence that are going to completely change the game. It's going to completely, it's flipping your feeling like loss. You have loss, you have emotional loss, you have, yes, loss, lord of loss and pleasure. You don't feel like you have the comforts. You don't feel like you have that. You are focusing on the negative, basically. But with it being in reverse and with the Eight of Wands, new messages, new actions, new things are coming in right away that are like, nope, nope, here it is. Here you are. Here's something different. Here's something new. Can you let go of the past? Can you let go of the failure to accept the new, to understand that there is newness and wonderful things in life. And I think that this Eight of Pentacles also represents, because we have the 8 and 9 of Pentacles, I think it represents some of this hard work that we need to do to appreciate and understand what we do have, and to work through the disappointment and the sorrow that we might feel. Because it is work. You have to mentally shift your brain to realize that you can always be happy. You can always find the silver lining. You can always be feeling like you have gain and not lack, regardless of what situation you are in. You don't have that perfect job. You don't have that perfect person. You don't have that, the perfect look. Who cares? Looks are subjective. People are a lot of work. And, your perfect job to do what? To have status that really doesn't mean a whole lot if you're not happy. You have to relish the good, relish the moments of life that are truly wonderful and truly happy, and the people. And then we have the Chariot to end, which is fantastic. We're riding out of this month on our chariot, on our onward and upward. I mean, this is the major arcana victory card. And it's, you get the two horses going together in directed paths. You are victorious in your actions. You have your ducks in a row. You have things that are moving forward. So I think that whatever we have lost in our life has been for the better. And anything that was in the past was only there to teach us what we didn't want, didn't need, or shouldn't be glorifying in our life. The Lord of Triumph of Light. I love it. It's great. And that is we have another princess. We have very novice cards. So we are coming in, and we are, and the Princess of Swords can be a bit sharp-tongued. It's about words and thoughts. But we are able to have a cohesive conversation, maybe not at the top of our, verbal and mental complexities, but we are able to, go out and be victorious in a situation where we are dealing with energies that are maybe a little bit more immature or less than concretely positive or concretely studied or well formed. And that's good. I mean, we've got lots of people here So maybe that you are embodying these people, or you're coming across people that embody these energies. But I mean, we're moving past disappointment, and we're moving into victory. So it's a very interesting dichotomy, and I think it's all where you put your energy and where you put your understanding of, you know, your positivity and where you want to go in your life. Are we going to remain in the past, or are we going to go into the future? So, happy Halloween. Long live feminism. Respect people's opinions regardless of their gender. And that's it. All right.